After a couple of weeks of Christmas cookies and holiday cheer, we are back with the first new games video of 2019. Companies hibernated a bit towards the end of 18, but they're ready once more to unleash their new Switch announcements, and that's why we've got 7 of them to share with you today. Capcom coming in with a surprise, skateboarders shifting their way to Switch, and even a few cultists climbing aboard, Gabe. It's not just Nintendo ready to release their lineup and a date for Yoshi's Crafted World, but other companies have arisen.
It is really cool to see games being announced once again. We were in a lull, like you mentioned. Not a lot was happening, but new year, new games, Zach. We have a lot to get into today.
Before we get to the list, there's another new title that's flown under the radar, but you need to know about. This week's episode is brought to you by Cave Blazers, a new title available in the eShop right now for a special launch price of $11.99. It's regularly $15, but right now you can grab it for $12. And at first blush, it might look like just another pixel art 2D type game. Gabe grabbed it, and I was waiting to see what he thought, and then super happy to see that magic text that said, "Dude, Cave Blazers is so good."
I was taken aback and surprised by how fun this game is because, as you know, I've kind of been done with roguelikes for a little bit, but this one kind of does it in a whole different way. There is a lot to this package. There is wave-based modes, there is character customization, there is addictive and intuitive gameplay, there are a ton of boss fights that are very difficult. I'm kind of in love with this game, and in my opinion, it is the first must-have eShop game of the year.
So I a lot of times like to send things your way and get your first take before I download it. And as soon as I saw that, I grabbed it, and I was about to board a plane, and thank goodness I did. I played it my entire flight. This game is made by the Yogscast. It came out previously on PC and now on Switch, and it's such a good fit. It's kind of a perfectly harmonious blend between something like Spelunky and Towerfall, where you have this simplistic art style, but these massive levels, these procedurally generated levels, you dump into these caves, and you have to fight all sorts of enemies, increasingly difficult scenarios. You can jump and move all around, you pick up all sorts of weapons, you've got an entire inventory to manage, but like you mentioned, Gabe, it's super intuitive. Something with this level of complexity and just multifaceted gameplay could get overwhelming quite quickly, but without very much explanation, they are able to guide you through, and I never felt overwhelmed. I just felt like I was in the groove from the get-go. I got to a boss my very first run, and from there, I was super hooked. You can get through a run pretty darn quickly. You will come up against some pretty stiff challenges right away, but I think they balance that difficulty and that challenge very good. So you get on a run, you see how you're making the progress, you level up some and pick up some new unlocks, and you're just dying to get back into the cave, almost quite literally, so that you can die again and level up some more and grab those perks and plan for an even better run.
Yes, I've been playing the game a whole bunch. I can't wait to get into the game in co-op one day with you, Zach. It does offer that as well, local co-op only, but it's still like probably a really good time. I'm excited to give that a go, and there's still a lot in the package that we have yet to discover because the progression in this is very satisfying, just like the gameplay and defeating one of those bosses, which I got to do that you didn't get to do, Zach. I'm very proud of that.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, it almost gives you a Souls-like feeling of accomplishment where you're like, oh my god, I finally did it.
Yeah, so definitely do not sleep on Cave Blazers. It's available in the eShop now, and we're crowning it our first must-have eShop game of the year. So kudos to the folks over at Yogscast and Deadpan Games. They did a fantastic job, and we are super happy to be aligning with them for this video. It's available for $11.99 and gets the SwitchForce seal of approval. Alrighty, let's step out of that cave and start off with the biggest one of the week. Capcom decided to dust off an old fan favorite and bring it to Switch. They're taking Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen to Nintendo's platform on April 23rd. This is a game that I've seen some people clamoring for. It was pretty darn loved when it initially released in 2012. It's been coming over to new consoles since 2017, and now the huge open-world action RPG hits the Switch.
this was one of the games that people really wanted when Capcom pledged more support for the Nintendo Switch some time back, when they said that they wanted to bring more of their key franchises and stuff that would make sense on Switch to the Switch. Dragon Dogma was something that people wanted right away. I've actually played this game a bit. It's really, really fun, Zach. You can like climb atop giant monsters and like defeat them. The boss battles in this game are super, super epic. I didn't complete it, and I don't foresee that I'm going to complete it on Nintendo Switch. I played it on PC when it released there originally, but it's a really good time for what I have played. And like you said, it is a fan favorite. People have been wanting this on the platform, and it's good to see Capcom, a big third party, support the Nintendo Switch with a game like this.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Monster Hunter, you might be excited to see, as Gabe mentioned, all of the climbing aboard action that this game holds. And I want to congratulate Capcom, because I think they're doing this really right. They know that this is a game that is being ported, and even though it is the enhanced edition that also has been ported, so they're bringing this out with a MSRP of $30. That's what seems to be the case, as it's up for pre-order on Amazon right now for $27. That I like. If you're going to bring an older game, yeah, give it to us at a nice discount. I think that's a really smart move and is going to encourage a lot of sales and a lot of repeat buys, because $30 is a lot easier to swallow as a second copy than if this was a full $60. So Dragon's Dogma slotting in just a couple of months, an early Q2 game, and as you mentioned, a pretty darn quality one. Let's move to another quality set of titles. These are of the indie nature, but OlliOlli Switch Stance is coming to Switch with a clever and cool name that is on point and encapsulates both OlliOlli games. These are fantastic skateboarding titles. They're very challenge-based. They are very side-scrolly, but they are very awesome. Over 120 tricks and grinds to pull off across 50 deviously crafted levels, 250 challenges, spots mode, and daily grind. That's just the first game. Then the sequel has a whole lot more, with an expanded combo system and a Trictionary that shows all sorts of different things you can pull off. Have you played OlliOlli?
I have, and they are actually fun little games. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but for the short burst that I did play them, I enjoyed them. I like skateboarding. I don't know if you know this, Zach. Way back in the day, Did
you skateboard?
Yes.
Backwards hat and all? Knee pads? Helmet?
Whoa.
Walkman?
Backwards hat, yes. Walkman, yes. No knee pads and helmet. What are you talking? You know who you're talking to, Zach? I was shredding all over the streets of whatever city I was living in.
That skate park swaggered. You had to keep it going.
I was like the auto rocket of my town.
Lovely. I think these are fantastically fun. I really like the Tony Hawk titles on like Game Boy Advance and stuff when I was younger. And while these are not 3D in the same sense, they are strictly 2D. They're really well made. The controls are perfect, and it's just a great, just like repeat. Try to go for high scores. And they're coming out for only $15 on February 14th, so it'll be just a month before you're able to play these. I love them on other platforms. I will be double dipping and grabbing this combo pack once again. Next up, we have Giga Wrecker Alt, which actually, Gabe, is a Game Freak game. They are freaking out this year on Switch. Now, this one comes from a 2017 release on Steam, but now it's heading to Switch. There's not a date yet, but this game was rated for the Nintendo Hybrid in Taiwan, and there's going to be additions. They're not exactly sure what yet, but this is a 2D action-adventure game, very beautiful. You play as a girl who has the ability to manipulate debris and explore a world invaded by an army of evil robots. So it kind of sounds like their take on Mega Man, but there's physics incorporated here, puzzle solving, and of course special abilities.
It's really cool to see Game Freak do something that isn't Pokemon, just because that's what they're most commonly known for. And yes, it's a re-release or a port of a game that's already on another platform, but it still looks really cool. I had never heard about this until today. What about you?
Yeah, I did not know it existed. I was, jonesing for Town and Pokemon 2019, but hey, bring in more of their action. It does have positive reviews on Steam, so when it does get a date and a price, I am going to be excited to check it out. It's very pretty. It's a very beautiful game.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, you know what is one of the most beautiful things in the world, Gabe? It's The Office, featuring Michael Scott, Dunder Mifflin, Dwight Schrute, Jim Halpert, and The Office Quest. I wish that it was about The Office that we love. It's not about that office. It's about 11 Sheep's office. They are bringing this title to Switch on January 11th, but it's a point-and-click adventure for all you people who just cannot stay in the office any longer. Solve challenging puzzles and riddles, surprisingly handy objects, and your beautiful, sharp mind equals a clear path towards freedom. Not all heroes wear capes, Gabe. Some prefer fluffy onesies.
Such a unique art style. It's the first thing that stands out. It kind of looks like Kevin with glasses.
It does. This is what happens if Kevin became the manager.
Yeah, sure.
He never got a chance in the show, so now he gets a chance. But there's also just all other sorts of weird things that happen in this world. It's not the office that we know, but it could be an office that we love.
It seems quirky. $12, pretty good price range. I might check it out. I like quirky games like this, so it's definitely on my radar now.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to Holy Potatoes Were in Space. I was just talking about like commercialized space travel, and if that is something that'll happen in our lifetime.
Probably not.
But I think so, absolutely.
In our lifetime? Commercialized space travel?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm not saying it's going to be cheap.
Wait, what destination? Just Mars?
Just like the moon, or like, maybe not even a destination, but more just like go out into space, come back home. But now I have a phrase to say when that happens. It's going to be Holy Potatoes Were in Space, releasing on Switch January 17th for $14.99. This is a simulation-style game, space exploration, managing your spaceship, crafting hundreds of weapons, exploring the vastness of a veggie-filled universe. Now, that's something I don't expect to find when you and I go to Space Game, but it does have turn-based combat, with a lot of weapons, special effects, and exciting battles. Manage your crew, time, and resources to craft a spud load of weapons and create the ultimate juggernaut of mass destructions, especially while you listen to over 150 music tracks.
It features a compelling story that differs across playthroughs. You get to hire engineers from an array of strangely familiar edibles to man your ship and weapons. There's a lot to do here. Just like in Space Act, there's a lot to do in space. There's a casual mode for stress-free pew-pewing. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think it looks really good. I'm very surprised to know that Holy Potatoes is a franchise. I don't know if you knew that, but this is
No.
Apparently it's a franchise. They say that this is the next Holy Potatoes game. We're in space and coming. So like there's another one called Holy Potatoes: A Weapon Shop, where you have to manage a weapon shop, and there's some other ones as well. Holy Potatoes: What the Heck? It's a cooking and management game. We've got Holy Potatoes: A Spy Story, where you are managing a spy agency. So obviously the next destination was outer space.
All right.
I still think there's going to be commercialized space travel.
I mean, maybe. Elon Musk is doing all types of shenanigans. Maybe
it's going to happen. Me and my girlfriend were talking about we need to make a book of all these things that we predicted are going to happen in the future, and then see who's more right. Okay. And the loser has to go to space.
Perfect.
If you don't want to go to space, though, maybe you can go to a Dark Souls alike. And I wanted to ask you, Gabe, before I even get into this game, are we tapped out? Is Dark Souls clones the new Metroidvania? I think the answer is yes, but the real question is there space for more of them?
I think I'm okay. I'm chill. The only Dark Souls like I want is not really even a Dark Souls like, because it's so different and it's on another platform, Sekiro. That's the only similar
made by the Dark Souls people.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I say it's kind of like it, but not really, because they claim it's very different. All right, regardless, we're getting into a tangent here. I'm kind of over them, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, sorry to steal some of the thunder of Dark Devotion, but it is coming to Switch early this year. It was originally funded on Kickstarter. Gabe, it mixes all of your favorite genres into one on Switch: 2D, roguelike, action RPG, Dark Souls alike. Of course, it has a lot of demanding fights. It has a lot of super intense bosses. It has a very pretty art style. But to me, it's going to take a lot for one of these games to stand out once again. There are so many of them. They say that this game has a rich, complex storyline and very dark levels, brooding environments, intricate system of blessings, curses, illnesses, tons of weapons, armor, items for different fighting styles, dynamic, heavy, stamina-based combat. I'm not saying it can't do it, but I feel like one of these is going to need to be a star in order to sort of suck us out of the stupor that we've felt in recent years.
Okay, not only are Souls-like games in abundance, but roguelikes are in abundance. But I have kind of had a rekindling. Do you see what I'm doing here? I've kind of had a rekindling with roguelikes, just having played one that's really, really cool recently. So I want to give this one a try. This one looks really good. The art style on this one's like phenomenal. I think it's like beautiful to like look at. You're watching the trailer. It looks astonishing to me. So if the gameplay is good, I'm willing to give it a try. We'll see.
Cave Blazers proves that sometimes you don't, your first impression based on just the look isn't enough, and the gameplay backed the heck out of that visual appearance. So maybe either this is going to be the flip side where the visuals look incredible and the gameplay isn't there, or maybe we'll be surprised once again. The Shrouded Isle, though, is coming super soon, January 17th, and this is the one where you get to manage cultists, villagers, and basically build out your own creepy organization. You can do all of this via a very limited color palette, but it's a game that came out before and has received some praise. It's $14.99 on Switch, and it has 7 different endings. And it says, find all 7 cinematic endings to meet your Lord's expectations of purity.
Zach, I've always wanted to have a cult, a positive cult, mind you. Nothing crazy. But it has 6 different color schemes. That's a feature of the game. The green that you're seeing here isn't the only way to look at it. And I mean, this one's interesting to say the least. It's clearly
when one of your touted features is a new purification tower mechanic, it's a little daunting. It's a little terrifying. I don't know how I feel about entering a purification tower. I
mean, it's clearly going to be very limited as far as like gameplay and what you can do and stuff like that. But if the scenarios are interesting, I could see myself having a good time with it. I mean, I wish it was a little cheaper, but we'll see how that goes.
You have always dreamed of being a high priest who can uncover and purge heretics to prepare for the awakening of your beloved god beneath the waves. So
yeah, that's true.
When your sea creature Satan spawns from the below your island, you will be ready for it, and we can all check it out in a week's time. That is our list for today, my friends. Dragons, Dogma, Dark Arisen, down to the Shrouded Isle. Gabe, give me your pick for which you're most excited for.
I'm actually really excited for Dragon's Dogma. I think that's going to be a really good port, because Capcom does good stuff on Switch, and the game was ported over to other platforms. It's always been good as far as like performance-wise, and there's some giant boss battles. But I'm honestly intrigued by pretty much every single game here. This is one of the strongest weeks, I feel like. Even Dark Devotion, which, again, is in genres that are maybe a little overdone, it visually just looks really, really great, and everything else does catch my eye. So I think it's a great week.
Back on track for sure. I'm going to give my gold star to Olly Olly Switch stands just because I love those games, and bringing them on Switch with a clever little title is going to be fun. But I'll also throw a bone to Giga Wrecker Alt. I'm just super excited to see something else from Game Freak, and the fact that I didn't know it existed makes me feel like a bit of a poor fan. But hey, it's got pretty good reviews, and I just want to see like another thing that they've done. I think that'll be really fun. Let us know in the comments down below which of these games you are most excited for. Hit that like button if you're glad that new releases are back on track, and we should have them for the foreseeable future. I think every week now we'll be bringing some cool stuff while we wait for that direct. So let us know what you're pumped for. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and its new releases. A big week. Tales of Vesperia, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, You, New, Who, Luigi, Me, Mario, Peachette, Toadette, and Nabbit. That one is out very soon, if not now. So a lot to see, a lot to do, a lot to be excited for. Until that time, everybody, thanks again for watching. Fantastic day. For myself and Gabe, SwitchForce, out.